I said that we were going to finish this event with the final meditation called the Blessing of the Energy Centers. And it is the most popular meditation of our advanced community. They love doing it. And when we do our advanced workshops, we start every morning blessing the energy centers at 6 in the morning. That's our game. That's just what we do. Brain waves are right, and we're going to start that day with getting the temple straightened out. Are you with me? Yes. So then, all of the work that you've been doing, those of you who've been doing my meditation, and resting your attention in the space that your nose occupies in space, and sensing the space that your nose is in space. Don't you know that's been training? Because you're mastering two types of focus. Convergent focus, narrowing your focus on matter, and divergent focus, opening your focus to information and energy. You with me still? Now, I was raised in a very ethnic family, and ethnic stereotypes from that particular part of the world, I'm talking about my own culture, of course, when they want you to pay attention, they say, tie your shoe, watch the car, don't break your leg, They yell at you, and of course that emergency focus causes you to narrow your focus, right? And then we just learned that's the way we focus, right? Problem is you get stuck like that, and you can't open your focus, your brain gets stuck like that. You with me still? Yes. So we know that the hormones of stress narrow our focus, and I'm teaching you to open your focus to do the opposite. Are you with me still? Yes. So all the training you've been doing in resting your attention in different parts of your body and the space around your body is becoming aware of those two types of focuses, a convergent and a divergent focus. Are you with me still? Yes. Turn the person next to you and explain that. Would you agree, though? Based on just a brief exposure in one weekend to the information that you're getting, that when you take your attention off of objects, off of matter, off of people, off of things, off of places, off of dimension, 3-dimension, and you begin to sense nothing in energy and information, as you open your focus, different compartments of the brain that were once subdivided because of the hormones of stress say the tormentor's gone. He's not thinking, she's not analyzing, they're out of the way. And different compartments of the brain begin to unify, they begin to synchronize, they become more coherent. Remember? Come on. Yes. So that's what you've been doing all along, yes? Yes. So then you created coherence in your brain by doing that, yes or no? Yes. So then each one of these energy centers are centers of information. They have their own energy, their own frequency, and all frequency carries information. They have their own intent, another way to say it. Are you with me still? Their own consciousness. They have their own glands, their own hormones, their own chemicals, and their own individual little brains. Inferior mesenteric plexus, superior mesenteric plexus, solar plexus, or celiac plexus, heart plexus, thyroid plexus, pineal gland, pituitary. Are you with me still? Yes. So now, first three centers we've acknowledged have everything to do with survival. Yes or no? Yes. And of course, there's nothing wrong with these first three centers. We use them. That's the animal part of us. And when you are over-consuming, when you are over-stressful, when you're over-addicted, when you're over-sexual, when you keep releasing energy out, you're drawing from this invisible field of life force, this vital energy, and you're turning it into chemistry. Are you with me still? So you're being chased by a lion, you better draw from this vital field and turn it into chemistry, because you got to move your body through space, and you better take a very short amount of time to do it. Yes or no? Yes. So the intelligence of the body says, let's tap all the resources, because it's more important to survive than to hold back on any of the resources. Short term, that's really great. Yes or no? Yes. Long term, though, all of a sudden now you don't have any energy to heal. You don't have any vital life force. The field around your body literally diminishes because you keep tapping that vital field. Are you with me still? Yes. So then, as you understand that each one of these individual plexuses of neurons are their own individual brain, then you would have to agree with me, then they have their own mind. Hello? Yes. Your first center has its own mind, gentlemen. Your second center has its own mind. You trust your gut sometimes, yes? When you use your will to do something, you're using your third center. Are you with me still? When you are giving and nurturing and care and kindful and present, you're activating your fourth center. It has its own mind, yes? If you're speaking or expressing your truth or expressing love, you're activating this center. Are you with me still? Yes. So now, would you agree then that you have a tremendous amount of creative energy in your first center? Yes or no? Yes. And then when you release that out chemically, and it begins to connect with another person's egg or seed or whatever, however that works, you're creating another offspring, and it's your energy that you're giving in the form of genes, exchanging information. Yes or no? Yes. And it takes a lot of energy to grow a child, yeah? Yes. So then you don't have to always release that energy out. That creative energy, listen to this, when you feel safe in your environment, in the social structures, in the food, all the elements of survival are in place, the energy naturally moves to the second center. Are you with me still? So you create social structures, families, support, you create tribes, you create trust and bonds with people, and you're safe. And that second center is working really well. If things all of a sudden are perceived as unsafe, that there's threatened some environment or there's some obstacle, some challenge you have to overcome, you better start moving energy to your third center. That same energy is just moving up. Are you with me still? Yes. Now you're going to use your will to begin to overcome the conditions in your body. And your third center gets your body up and going. Are you with me still? Yes. The idea of just standing up or getting out of bed takes an act of will. Are you with me still? And that's your third center. And that's why when your adrenals are fatigued or you're stressed out or blown out, you can't get up. You're done. You just tap the reserve. Are you with me still? Yes. So then, but if you do face the conditions in your life and you do overcome them, the energy moves right into the fourth center and you feel more whole. You're more in love with yourself. You're more in love with life. You're more patient with other people. You're more kind. You're more giving. You're more caring because you're out of survival. You've overcome your environment, your body and time. Are you with me still? Yes. And you feel more whole, and you're more creative, and you're more poised, and you're more spontaneous. And then when you begin to feel that love, you got to express it because you feel it. Now you got to express it. That's what we do. So the energy moves to the fifth center, and you speak your greatest understanding about life. You understand it's not the end, it's just your greatest truth at that time. Are you with me still? And then when you speak that out, the energy moves right into the pineal gland, and the pineal gland releases its metabolites. It begins to activate and awaken dormant areas of the brain, and you begin to perceive reality through a different window. Are you with me still? Yes. You begin to activate dormant areas of the brain, and you have a greater spectrum of that less than 1% of reality that we experience. Are you with me still? And if that energy continues right up to the seventh center, all of a sudden, that seventh center creates a tremendous amount of harmony all the way back down in the other direction. Harmony within and harmony in all areas of your life. And that's how we evolve. Yes or no? Yes. So then you can understand the antithesis of this now too. Energy should be moving past the second center, and the person has a trauma and they feel unsafe. They're betrayed, and they're not trusting any longer. And that energy stays stuck right in the center. Are you with me still? Yes. And it's guilt, or it's pain, or it's suffering, it's grief, whatever. It's locked down in there. You with me still? And if it moves through the second center and it gets stuck in the third center, then of course the person's tied up in their ego. They're tied up in the way they look. They're tied up in what people think about them. They're tied up controlling everything in their life. They can't let go. They can't trust. So the energy stays stuck in the third center, and they're controlling and manipulating, and it's tyrannical. Are you with me still? Yes. But if that energy continues to move, it continues to move up. Does that make sense? Yes. So now, are you with me still? Yes. Your model pretty good? Yes. Come on. Yes. So if you're drawing from this invisible field of energy over and over again and turning it into chemistry in one of these three centers, sooner or later you're going to run out of energy here, yes? And so then all energy carries information, carries consciousness. So now you have no energy moving through neurological tissue. You have no information, no consciousness moving through neurological tissue, which means you have a limited mind in that area. Are you with me still? And when you tap out the vital force and there's no longer any energy to move through that brain, those individual brains, guess what? Those individual brains begin to function incoherently, just like your big brain. And it sends an incoherent message to the cells and tissues and organs in the body. And now all of those organs, cells, and tissues are getting very, very limited information. It's like static on the wire. And the body's no longer getting the proper life force through the nervous system. How many people are with me? Turn the person next to you and try that one on a little bit. Your mother's going to ask you what you did this weekend. You better be able to tell her. So now, think about this. If you were to rest your attention in the space that your perineum occupies in space, you would be placing your energy and your attention in that area. Convergent focus, yes or no? Yes. So then you would be acknowledging the particle in quantum physics, yes? But reality is a particle and a wave. It's both. It's a wavicle. It's a combination, yes? So then when you become aware of the space around your hips, beyond this center, you're opening your focus, just like you did here, yes or no? So then, is it possible then that when you open your focus and you put your attention on energy and information, you're building a field because that's where your attention is? And you're tuning in to information related to this center. Are you with me still? And this center can draw from a new field of coherent information that causes that individual brain to become more coherent and send a coherent message to the uterus, to the lower back, to the prostate, to the bladder, to the cells and tissues in that area. Are you with me still? Yes. So then, we bless each one of these energy centers in a state of love. They're your cells. They're working for you. And when you bless them in love, it's a faster frequency than guilt. And so, of course, it's going to entrain and create order in those tissues. Are you with me still? Yes. And what if you were to rest your attention in the space behind your navel in space? Have you done that? So you have a neurological network then, yes? Yes. And what if you were to rest your attention in the space and become aware of the space around the center? And to bless this center for the greatest good, loving it into life with a new coherent energy that the cells and atoms and tissues would draw from to create a coherent signature to all the organs in this area. Are you with me still? And what if you were to rest your attention in the pit of your gut, the third center, and became aware of the space around the center, particle wave, to bless this center for the greatest good, that it draw from a new field of coherent light and information, causes your body to respond to a new mind. And you know what? We only spend a few minutes on each one. And the reason that I've held back in teaching this until people have practiced, because if they can't change their brain waves, they're not getting into the autonomic nervous system, and it's not going to work. Are you with me still? And I watched all of you in that last meditation, and I bet you, I'd bet that 95% of you were in alpha or theta. You were gone. You were elsewhere. And so I taught it for people to rest their attention in the space their body occupies and space in the space around so they can develop that type of focus. And if they can't rest their attention there and they're all over the place, it's not going to work. So we have to train, yes? And the good news is you'd never have to do that other way ever again. Now you can bless your energy centers, and it takes a shorter amount of time. You with me still? It's only spending a few minutes to climb Jacob's ladder. So then you rest your attention in the space in the center of your chest in space. Have you done that a few times? So you have a neurological network then, so you can rest your attention there. It should be easy. And you can be present with it and become aware of the space around this center, beyond your body in space. And could you tune in to a new frequency that this center can draw from a new field of coherent energy and information? And all you have to do is just tune into that energy and bless it for the greatest good, loving it into life. And then you rest your attention in the space in the center of your throat in space. Have you done that? And you become aware of the space around it. You tune into that energy. It's a faster frequency than this one. This one's a faster frequency than this one. This one's a faster frequency than this one. It's a faster frequency as you go up. Are you with me still? And what if you were to rest your attention in the space between the back of your throat and the back of your brain in space? The pineal gland. What if you were to anchor your attention in that space and become aware of the space beyond your head in space? Have you done that? Yep. And what if you blessed this center, that the alchemist in you awaken, that the doors of dimension open to you, that you see the hidden meaning behind all things, that the veil of this illusion be lifted, that your dreams be lucid? If that is your intent, would you agree then? That energy is carrying your intention, that information, and that energy should organize chemistry and matter to a new mind. And you should begin to make some pretty profound neurometabolites that's going to fit into the same receptor sites as serotonin and melatonin, but it's going to carry a very, very different message. Are you with me still?
Yes.
Because energy is the epiphenomenon of matter. Are you with me still?
Yes.
What if you were to rest your attention in the space in the center of your head in space, in the big black space? Have you done that?
Yes.
So you have a neurological network to do that. And if you were to become aware of the space beyond your head, around your head in space, would you be able to bless this center for the greatest good? That this center draw from a new field of light and information. If you could become aware of that light and information and allow it to receive in you, would that begin to get a new message to the pituitary gland, which would influence the pineal gland, which would influence the thyroid, which influence the thymus and the heart, which would influence your adrenals and all the way down? So then what if you were to rest your attention in the space about 16 inches above your head? The Egyptians called it the Ka. This is an energy field. And what if you were to bless this center after you become aware of it in a state of gratitude? Why gratitude? Gratitude is the ultimate state of... And what if you bless this center, that information from the cosmos be downloaded into your nervous system, that latent genes be activated in you? Is it possible? You saw that second energy field. It's coming the other way, and that's that energy from the cosmos coming right through the door. And so many students have had the experience. And they say every single cell of their body, every cell was touched with a vibration, with light. That's the only way they can describe it. You're getting upgraded. You're getting a little cosmic upgrade, huh? So then, what if you were to become aware of the space around your body in space? Have you done that?
Yes.
So then, if you place your attention on the space around your body in space, this teardrop, this egg, then the longer you place your attention on the space around your body, and the longer you become aware of it, and the longer you're present with it, where you place your attention is where you place your... So you're building a field of light and information, yes or no?
Yes.
So then this here is you. This is not you. This is what you're wearing. This is the puppet master here. This is you. And so how much, you want to talk about this at the advanced workshop, how much of your waking day are you aware of energy, and how much of your waking day is your attention on the particle? So then if your attention isn't on possibility, you shouldn't have much possibility happening in your life, because you're a materialist, focusing just on the particle. So you begin to become aware of this field around your body. And what if you were to bless this field, that the atoms, molecules, the chemicals, the cells, the tissues and organs and systems of your body would be drawing from a new field of light and information? Is it possible then, instead of your body breaking down over time because it's more matter and less energy, you know what I'm talking about, the second law of thermodynamics, things get into disorder or entropy in the universe. If you're more energy than matter, then you should experience syntropy instead of entropy, orderliness, or reverse entropy, and because you're more energy than matter. How many people are with me? And people have healed themselves in this work from bladder cancer, prostate cancer, chronic bladder infections, impotence, diverticulitis, acid reflux, food allergies, projectile vomiting, heart palpitations, arrhythmias, asthmas, throat cancer, brain tumors. We've seen it all. And all they had to do was rest their attention in each one of these centers and program their autonomic nervous system. Now, did you hear me say visualize anything? Did I hear me say to do anything? All you have to do is rest your attention there, space around, and tune in. That's it. And all of a sudden, your autonomic nervous system says, hey, just get out of the way. Stay over there. Let me do this. I'm a much better healer than you are. Just stay out of the way. Let me take over. Are you with me still? So turn the person next to you and tell them how you're going to bless your energy centers. Remember this? Here's an atom. Here's an atom. Here's the nucleus of the atom. There's a cloud of possibility, and all that wave is carrying information. It's a frequency. So when the energy lines up and they begin to bond, they're exchanging vital information. Are you with me still? The moment these two atoms come together and they bond and they're sharing information, the energy that's holding these two atoms together to form a molecule is basically creating different physical characteristics than when they existed separately. They have a different weight, a different boiling point, all these different physical structures because now it's a different molecule. Are you with me still? Yes. Are you with me? Yes. So then if I add another one over here, then you would have to agree if they exchange more information, this molecule changes again. But what's holding this molecule together is the energy and the information. You with me still? So if I add another one over here, you could see we keep changing the physical properties because they're exchanging energy and information. Yes or no? Yes. If I keep doing that, I'm going to form a chemical, yes? And there's going to be an invisible field of light and information around that chemical, and they're sharing information, all those individual atoms. And it changes the physical characteristics, the behavior of the chemical. You with me still? Get enough chemicals going together, I can form a cell, yes? And the cell has an invisible field of light and information around it. And there's a whole new science called information biology that's coming out that's basically saying, we lied. I mean, cells don't function by charged molecules, and that's how they work. That the cell is drawing from an invisible field of light and information. And the latest research shows that the more coherent the light around the cell, they measure it, the healthier the cell. The less light around the cell, or the incoherent message around the cell's not communicating inside the cell very well, and it's not communicating with other cells very well. And the research shows that the communication that happens within the cell and between cells is faster than the speed of light. So it's a quantum phenomenon. It's exchanging information beyond the speed of light. Are you with me still? So then you take that life force, that light away from the cell, and the cell dies. There's no information to feed it, no energy. Does that make sense? So then if you take a group of cells and you put them together and they're all from the same family, you form a tissue. Yes or no? And that tissue has an invisible field of light and information that it's drawing from, that's causing the individual cells to behave as a team. You with me still? Take that tissue and you fold it over, you create an organ. And that organ has an invisible field of light and information, and that light and information is the memory of that organ. Are you listening closely? Yeah. That's why after the first heart transplant, the person who got that new heart craved McDonald's. That's because the donor loved McDonald's. Are you with me still? And how about the woman who got the heart transplant and got the heart from someone who was raped and murdered? I'm writing about this in my book. And the moment they got the new heart, all of a sudden, the person had a consistent same nightmare, the same nightmare that she was being murdered. She went to a forensic artist. They drew the person's face, and the person turned himself in. The memory is in the field, isn't it not? Yes. So don't look at me like that. I'm just repeating what I learned. So you take one organ out of one person, you put it in another person, you're going to begin to contribute to the person's light field, and it's got to be mixed up with your own light field, yes? Yes. So then if you take all those organs and put them together, you form a system. Digestive system, reproductive system, immune system, cardiovascular system, and that system is drawing from an individual field of light and information that's keeping it in unison, working together, in coherence, yes? You take all of those systems and you put it together, you form a body, and the body has an invisible field of light and information. Are you with me still? Yes. So then as you're tapping the vital resources around your body, because most of your attention and energy is on the first three centers, and that's where all your thoughts are, then you would have to agree that not only you're conditioning the body to become the mind, but you're continuously tapping from this field. And now you're just a piece of matter trying to change matter in your life. Are you with me still? So as you bless each one of these energy centers, you're acknowledging these centers of energy and information. And you are hooking up to the field. Are you with me still? And then when you become aware of the space around your body in space, then you're acknowledging the true self. And if you can build a field of energy because you can become aware of it and stay present with it and experience it and notice it moment after moment, you're building your own light field. And the cells, the tissues, the organs, the systems of the body that are made of atoms and molecules and chemicals are going to be drawing from new instructions. And it would make sense that the body should respond to a new mind. Are you with me still? And our students have healed themselves of all kinds of things. There's people in this audience that have done it. And they only have to spend a few minutes on each center. How many people understand? So now, we were in Paris. And I'm getting ready to go backstage, and this kid runs up and hands me this envelope. And I get him a lot, and I went backstage, I opened the envelope up, and this young guy is a IT person working in Israel. And his exact words, I got him up on the stage to tell the story, because I read his story, it was so amazing, is that he had the phone in his hand, and he was screaming at the top of his lungs at a client. Stress or no stress? And his whole ambition was to become wealthy. But this is how he was going about doing it. You understand? Which is, we all get, lost. And he was screaming at the top of his lungs, and all of a sudden he heard this pop in his head. And from that point forward, he had the worst headache you could ever imagine. He said that he could barely even concentrate, he couldn't think. But here's the problem. That when he got around, now remember he's an IT guy, anything electronic, his cell phone, his computer, his printer, Wi-Fi, anything, the pain, he said, was 1,000 times worse. Now, he didn't know anything about this, but this is what he experienced, right? So he went to the doctors, and the doctors told him what? He says, there's no such thing, you're depressed. Right? And so now he couldn't work. So he goes from a very early onset successful person to losing everything, going bankrupt, losing his job, losing his home, losing his cars. He lost everything because he couldn't work. He couldn't even be near it. He said all he did was curl up in a ball in his mother's house, mother and father's house, and pray that something would change. Are you with me still? Then the stress of the pain started creating a very profound pain syndrome in his body. He had all kinds of chronic pain and immune system problems, and he was taking 42 supplements a day, and nothing was changing it. So he winds up getting what You Are the Placebo. He reads the book, and he starts doing the placebo meditations, and he starts noticing some change, but nothing really big. So then he gets the blessing of the energy centers. And he starts doing the blessing of the energy centers, and he's climbing up this ladder, and he gets to his sixth center, and he said it was like a light show in his brain. He's an IT guy, never meditated before. His whole brain lit up, and that energy came right out of the top of his head, and for 10 minutes after that meditation, after many, many years, he had no pain at all. So he proved to himself that he could take it away, so guess what he did? He did it again. And he did it again. It went from 10 minutes to 20 minutes to 30 minutes to 40 minutes, and he kept doing it. And every time he did it, the period of relief got greater until he was able to experience hardly any pain in his waking state. Then he did something really brilliant. He took a cell phone and he sat it in front of him and he went into meditation. And he was changing his internal state independent of his external environment by blessing his energy centers over and over again. You with me still? And he mastered that. He had nothing else to do. Then, after he mastered that, he rented a space in an office building with all the computers and all the technology, all the Wi-Fi signals, and he showed up there with his blindfolds and his little beats, his little music things. He put them on, and for 5 hours every day, he would do blessing of the energy centers. Until finally, he was able to sit in the presence of technology and have no pain at all. And he just made his way through this condition. Are you with me still? Yeah. Here's the cool part about it. He stands up in front of the audience in Paris and he said, you know the weird thing? Now I work like an hour a day and I'm making 10 times the amount of money that I was ever making. It was just trajectory, just changed him on a different course. Do you understand? Yeah. That's how powerful the blessing of the energy centers can be. So now, let's do it. And all you're going to do, there's going to be some music, and when the music starts, there'll be about 20 seconds or 30 seconds or so for you to center yourself. You with me? Look at me. There's no breathing. You should be going like this. There you go. And then you'll hear a chime. And then I'm going to ask you, can you rest your attention in the space that your perineum occupies in space? And as you rest your awareness in this center, in your body, in space, can you become aware of the space around this center, beyond your hips in space? Are you with me still? Yes. And then I'm just going to ask you to bless this center for the greatest good, loving it into life. Love is a faster frequency, and it'll entrain a slower frequency. Are you with me still? Yes. So then you'll hear a chime after just a few minutes, and you'll move to the second one, to the space behind your navel, slightly below it and behind your navel. As you rest your attention in the space, you become aware of the space around it. I'll instruct you on how to do that. Then I'll ask you to bless this center for the greatest good, loving it into life. And all I want you to do is tune in to information, become aware of it, and allow the center to draw from a new field of coherent energy and information. Are you with me still? Then we'll climb the ladder to the third center. You'll rest your attention in the pit of your gut. You'll become aware of the space around that center. I'll ask you then to bless it for the greatest good. We'll move to the fourth center, and I'm going to start talking to you. I'm going to ask you to rest your attention in the center, the space around it, and then I'm going to ask you to bless this center, that your heart bloom like a great flower, that your soul speak to you in infinite ways, that wholeness be a constant in your life, that you feel love deeply, that you trust in the unknown. And all I want you to do is feel, become aware of it. And then we'll move to the fifth center. And I'll instruct you to rest your attention in that space and the space around it, and then I'll talk to you again. That your words become law, that you express love through this center, that the sound of your voice raises matter to a new mind, that when you call on spirit, it responds. Are you with me still? And then we'll move to the space between the back of your throat and the back of your head, the pineal gland. Our students can hang out there in their mind. They can rest their attention there. They've done it enough times. They know exactly where it is. They can locate it. They have a neurological network for it. And then you'll become aware of the space around it. I'll ask you to bless it, and then I'm going to start talking to you. That you bless it, that the alchemist in you awaken, that the doors of dimension open to you, that you see the hidden meaning behind all things, that the veil of this illusion be lifted, that your dreams be lucid. And if that is your intent, while you pay attention to that energy beyond your head, that energy is going to slow down in frequency and affect the chemistry of this gland. Are you with me still? Come on. Yes. And then I'm going to ask you to rest your attention in this big black space in the center of your head in space. And then I'm going to ask you to become aware of the space around it, and I'm going to ask you to bless this center for the greatest good, and I'm going to talk to you. We'll go to the 8th center, become aware of this space in the infinite black space, and then I'm going to ask you to bless it in the state of gratitude, falling in love with life, worthy to receive. And all I want you to do is open up to information. And don't expect anything. Just open up. Are you with me still? Then I'm going to ask you to become aware of the space around your body and space, the true self. And all I'm going to do is ask you to bless that field and radiate your energy into the field and raise the frequency of your body. That the atoms, the molecules, the cells, the tissues, the organs, the systems of information can be drawn from a new field of energy. Are you with me still? Yes. And then we'll be done. How does that sound? Can you give me your best? Yes. All right, here we go.